Goodbye.
Fluid. Yeah, very, very. As we see the ball rolling down the lane, it looks like it's hooking a lot, but trust me, I watched Pete bowl this week. That's pretty straight for Pete.
Oh, only my dreams. Oh, the double for Weber. So our two champions, as his wife looks on, Tracy.
His wife Tracy.
She is wearing a microphone, by the way.
And she is almost as animated as her husband, Pete. She gets excited, as many of the wives do.
Walter Ray taking very little time.
And I'm sure Walter's wife, Paige, is very pleased to see her man start out with 3 in a row.
All business between these two guys. Walter Ray, 37 years of age now. 6'2", 180 pounds, lives in Stockton, California. Last week just had about a 30-minute trip to the tournament. This week has to commute a little further, though.
A little bit further as he goes for 4 in a row on the left-hand lane. A little left of target.
Ooh, no split.
Don't do that. Get the ball out there.
Leaves the 3-6.
Get it out.
He's talking to himself. He says he wants to get the ball out. He cut that ball a little bit short, did not get it out to the target. That ball was left. When it left his hand, it was a board or two to the left of what his target was. He'll go hard and straight at the spare. Known for being a great spare shooter.
Ooh. All right.
And he doesn't disappoint.
Backed it in there. Our opening match. 8 pins separates these two great bowlers. Who's going to come out on top? Well, we'll find out when we come back. Stay with us, please.
It's tough to describe a headache. You just want it gone. But not with aspirin. Advil's a lot gentler to my stomach. There's Tylenol, but 2 Advil work better on tough headache pain. There is Excedrin, but that's aspirin, and the ingredient Tylenol, and caffeine. I don't want all that. I'll go with Advil.
Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class.
Nothing is proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
Hold it. This isn't you, it's an older guy. Oh, that was before I got rid of my gray hair with Just for Men hair color.
Come on, that's too natural to be hair coloring.
Just for Men. Apply and in 5 minutes rinse. Gray is blended away for a totally natural look.
Think it'll work for me? In 5 minutes.
Just for Men looks too natural to be hair coloring. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
The Northwest Classic is being brought to you by Ebonite. Bowl to win. Pete Weber up in the 4th frame, trailing by 8 pins, can take the lead with one more strike right here. Working on a double.
In Pete's only other appearance this year, he was the champion.
Give that one more room. Oh! Boy, I saw a little bit of everything up there, Marshall.
Well, Pete wasn't sure when he threw this ball whether he was going to get the break, as Tracy, his wife, is very appreciative of that. But they don't all have to be perfectly high flush.
Now, if you're going to make money on the PBA Tour, you got to have the light ones, the high ones, the solid ones.
And you know he wants to take advantage of that good break right now.
And he does. Pete Weber, 4 in a row. Now Walter Ray is behind as he heads into the 5th frame, trailing by 12 pins.
And Walter Ray is a 3-time PBA Player of the Year. As we see Pete Weber's ball go into the pocket. Watch the 10-pin. It fell fairly quick, but it was the only one that Pete thought may stand.
You know, they say a perfect strike is where the ball hits the 1-3-5-9. That was perfect. Of course, so was that, but it left the 10-pin.
Just a little bit of a flat hit through the ball. Now he's talking to himself, Walter is, about getting through the ball. He really is very honest in his assessment of his own deliveries.
At the 10-pin. As he converts it, by the way, Marshall, that is the 91st single-pin spare this year, and 88 of them have been converted.
That's because I haven't been on the show. Well, we've got 2 great spare shooters, both with Walter and Pete, bowling in our first match.
Weber looks like he's taking it all in. Perfect. Walter back on the striking path, but trails by 13 pins with Weber working on 4 in a row, headed to the 6th frame.
Going for 5 in a row. Look at the concentration.
Will it hit it? Yes! Weber has really been on a hot streak, doing well. I asked him, why are you bowling so well lately?
Well, Mike, I've been bowling really well at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. I'm just throwing the ball really well. I have a lot of confidence, and I'm ready to win again.
It looks like he is ready to win again.
And he's starting to get some good breaks on TV, which really helps your mental health.
Running it out, but leaves the 10-pin nevertheless.
A little disappointed, but still keeping the ball in play, making good shots. He's had some good carried that high hit, carried the light hit the previous frame. Needs to compose himself. He'll go hard and straight to the 10-pin.
With a conversion, he will lead by 22. Ooh, he gets it. Weber, 22 ahead. Walter Ray working on a strike. Can come back. When we come back, stay with us.
Continental Honda is having a relocation sale. Continental Honda Dodge, now located at 1280 East Chocolate Avenue in Hershey, is celebrating their move by drastically reducing the prices on every Honda in stock. Every Accord, every Civic, yes, every in-stock Honda is priced to sell immediately. Bad credit, no problem. At Continental Honda Dodge, you need no cash with any kind of trade. Celebrate Continental Honda of Hershey's new address with huge savings and a great selection for superior award-winning Honda service and prices. Bring your new or used Honda to Continental Honda Dodge at 1280 East Chocolate Avenue in Hershey.
Around here, the new year means new savings at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealers. Right now, Chrysler Concorde, with the highest resale value in its class, gives you $1,000 cash back and an affordable new low price. Or stop by your local dealer for $1,000 cash back on the cab-forward Chrysler Cirrus. Now only $17,695. The new year means new savings at your neighborly Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. We'll show you what's new.
Walter Ray, as we can see, trails by 22, but he's in the 7th frame working on a strike, can cut it to 12. Big shot here.
Yeah, we'll see how his experience will help him out. Coming out of commercial, can he get the job done?
He does. He gets the job done. Now it's down to 12 pins.
And as that ball hit the pocket and all the pins fell down, I got to look at Pete Weber. He sort of had a little bit of a pensive look on his face as we see Walter Ray's ball rolling down lane 32. It's coming in nice and flush. Gets the 10-pin.
No trouble with the 10 there.
No, not at all.
Can cut it to 2 with the strike here. Has to hurry. Leaves that 10-pin. Yelling at it, but it didn't do any good.
Well, Walter had to like the way through that ball. He's sort of shaking his head, wondering, God, what can I do? I threw the ball just the way I wanted to. Now trailing by 13 pins is Walter Ray Williams, Jr. You can listen to his ball roll down the lane for his spares.
No chance of that hooking too much, is there?
Well, with that hard ball rolling over the thumb hole, it's not hooking at all.
13 pins the difference. Weber headed to the 8th frame. He has the 13 pins.
And you would figure with these two 22-time titleists, you would get a very professionally bowled game. Both bowling very well right now. Weber shooting on a 230 pace, Walter Ray on a 220.
Boy, they are both just zoned in right here.
Tracy is watching, and
you know, as intense as he does.
Yeah, and all she can do is just kind of pray that Pete's able to get it done. 71 titles on the telecast today, Mike.
Even if he doesn't strike, yes, I understand. Here, he still can double in the 10th and win. Walter can't block him out if he doesn't strike. But he does.
Oh, and that's a powerful strike. That's very much the same hit that he had the last time on 31 where he left the 10-pin. This time, watch this ball come from right field and strong into that 1-3 pocket.
Boy, that's 6. He's bouncing the 7 and the 10 out of there. Walter Ray trailing by 23 has to just wire it out.
Gotta hurry.
Boy, it did, didn't it?
That ball went a little longer, came real hard in the back end.
23 pins. Walter, if he takes it out the sheet, 246.
And that would leave Weber with the 18 fill to win the match.
Well, it's a tough position to be in, to have to take it out to even have a prayer.
Well, but you know Walter's going to be giving it his best chance right here. He made a real good shot last time, leaving the solid 10. I think Pete would just as soon he didn't strike here.
Oh, nice break there. He says, thank you, thank you.
I think he's saying, that's one for me. Pete had a similar shot earlier in the game. This is Walter Ray Williams with the ball very high. There goes the 4, there goes the 7, there goes the 10, and here goes the smile.
It's interesting how some of those trip 4s happen on that extra high hit, where a little lighter, you leave it.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting part of the game of bowling. Sometimes a little bit more of a miss.
He cut it to 3 pins. Oh, and he does. What a game between these two 22-time champions. Fill ball's important.
It's very important. He needs to get every pin he can. 246 will leave him 3 pins down, and it will force Pete Weber to more than just show up in the 10th frame.
He'd have to go, what, 9 spare 9?
9 spare 9 would get it done, or strike, 8 spare strike, or any combination of 18 fill. But Walter wants to get this strike, and then Pete wants to strike the first ball in the 10th.
The 3-6 again.
Maybe a little bit of a mental lapse for Walter Ray Williams as he finishes with 244. Now Pete Weber only needs to fill 16. Yeah, as I do my quick addition, which apparently wasn't quick enough.
Both of us have our calculators out here feverishly figuring this out. Of course, our statistician, Phil Ringener, always has it figured out. Weber for the win. You can't throw it any better.
He just loves that. You know, Mike, it's only the 5th tournament of 1997, but I just know Pete Weber's thinking about this could be my year to be Player of the Year. He's never been PBA Player of the Year. Walter Ray Williams has had it 3 times. Pete Weber is thinking, it's my turn. A little safety shot there, just hard and straight.
Right down the middle of the lane. Keep it out of the channel. Tracy says, nice going, hon. Pete Weber with a conversion finishes with 258. Defeats Walter Ray Williams Jr. with 244. What a great opening match. When we come back, we're going to look at an average builder of how to make a spare, which we don't see too much of today. Stay here.
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power.
So, where do you want this?
Hey now, I ordered a new copier.
This is better than new, my friend. Allow me to demonstrate. Oh, what do we have here? Wow. Enlarges, too. Even collates.
I'll take it.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
That was close. I didn't think I could shove this baby through.
Virtually everyone who applies for this Visa credit card will be approved. If you meet these minimum requirements, you will be approved for this unsecured Visa credit card. This means you're not required to pay a security deposit to obtain your Visa credit card, even if you've been turned down before and regardless of your past credit history. Now you can be approved for the credit you need with no security deposit required. This is a limited time offer. Find out if you're among the thousands who will be approved for this no-risk unsecured Visa credit card. Call our toll-free number now.
Owners are a big part of sports. Some of them can be pretty interesting characters.
Look at ours.
Dan, how we doing?
Hi, Mr. Burley. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Take care of Gigi for a little while. I want to take a walk around the place, all right? What do you do up here?
I'm the producer for the 6:30 show.
What do you produce? All right, good. No facial hair.
Sorry?
It distracts from the top. I want to see you in a year and a half. That's it.
Why?
I think you may be using the wrong shampoo. I want to talk to you about that a little bit later. Right over here. Right over here. This isn't one of ours. This is not one of ours.
For our average builder this week, we're going to look at another very difficult spare that's left in our ESPN telecast and also left in your league play. And that spare is the dinner bucket, which is the 2-4-5-8 for right-handed players and the 3-5-6-9 for left-handed players. We're going to look at two different ways to make this spare. The first way is shooting it off of my strike line. The second way will be moving left. Let's look at the first way first, of course. That is, I want to shoot it off of my strike line. And the question is, how far right do I move? And the mathematical answer is that I move 5 boards to the right and use my strike target. Very simple. There is one fly in the ointment, though, that in many bowling centers there's a lot more oil in the middle of the lane than there is on the outside. So you may have to add 1 or 2 boards to that equation to make it work. But in this center, 5 boards right moves. And it looks like this. Now, the problem with this method is that it's definite possibility of chopping the 2 off the 5. The target is right around the second arrow. You can see the ball going. It looks like a chop, but not quite. We still convert the 2-4-5-8. Well, how do we avoid that chop? That leads us to our second method. That is moving left on the approach, throwing the ball dead straight at the 2-pin. Maybe you want to use a ball that doesn't hook nearly as much. Now, the only fallacy to this method is there's a possibility that you could leave that back pin, the 8-pin, because the ball won't be driving. But let's look at this. I move left and go straight at the 2-pin. It looks like this. I'm trying to throw this ball as straight as I possibly can, and I'm aiming right straight at the 2-pin. Hard and straight. And it goes right between the 2-4-5-8. The ball hit every pin. And that's how you convert both of these ways. Which way is the best way? The one that you feel the most comfortable with. Next week, we're headed south. It's the Oregon Open. That's March the 1st, Saturday, 5:30 Eastern Time. I'll be there with another average builder. Be sure and join us. In our opening match, Pete Weber outlasted Walter Ray Williams Jr. 258 to 244. That earns him the right to take on the non-winner, Tim Criss. Who will win? We'll find out when we come back.
I really do have dandruff, so I did it. I took the Dinerex test. Dinerex tingled. Head and shoulders, nothing.
All these have effective dandruff medicine, but Dinerex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
You won't see me scratching my head in Miami.
Dinerex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
I take the same route to the local pro shop. I wear the same boxers on every show. I watch the same TV program every week. I listen to the same CD every night. I eat the same thing on Wednesdays. I am the same man I used to be. I have a different ball for every lane, but they're all from the same company.
Celebration is brought to you by the people who've helped so many other people understand and enjoy cellular phones. Radio Shack, America's #1 retailer of cellular phones. Surprised? We're not. We're just happy. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Activate now and get 1 year of free roadside emergency service.
For 35 years, I did the sports in 4 minutes. Now you got this channel with breaking news, highlights, scores. You know, I was doing sports bloopers back then. But we used to call them goofy gaffes. Same garbage.
And we're back at Fiesta Bowl, where Tim Criss takes on Pete Weber. Marshall, there's 71 titles on the telecast this afternoon, but that's not the most ever on a telecast, is it?
No, it's not, Mike. There were 87 titles in the 1981 National Championship in Toledo. And We'll watch Tim Criss, who throws his first ball. Comes a little high, breaks it down, gets a good break. Dick Weber was on that telecast with 25 titles. Earl Anthony with 35. Dave Davis with 18. Gary Dickinson with 7. And Ernie Schlegel was on that show before he ever won. But that's 87.
87. 71 sounds like a lot, but not as many as 87. Cross lane, straight at the 6 pin. Tim Criss opens up with a nice spare. But spares aren't going to beat Pete Weber.
Pete looked so confident in the last game in taking on Walter Ray, and I believe that he is experienced enough that he is not looking past Tim Criss.
He likes both lanes, but this one a little bit better. 5 strikes on this lane.
He had command of this lane. We'll see as he throws his first ball in the second game if he still has that command. Sure does. I would say so.
Well, he's throwing the ball so effortlessly. The speed seems soft, but it's not going high.
Yeah, he's got very good control. He's got everything matched up. He's got the speed of the ball with the revolutions on the ball and the proper piece of equipment in his hand.
For the quick double. Has to hurry. Oh, 2, 4, 8. Got that 10 pin out of there, though.
Got around that ball a little bit at release. It wasn't behind the ball as much, so the ball looked as if it spun off his hand a little. We can see his ball as he's hoping it'll hook back, but as I said, he got around it a little bit. Fortunate just to leave that particular spare, and unfortunate not to make it.
Similar to what the tip was, although the 5-pin was not there. But,
yes, it was basically the bucket without the 5-pin, which should be easier because you don't have to worry about the chopping it. It looked as if Pete was almost indecisive whether he wanted to hook at it or go straight at it.
And when you're indecisive, usually bad things happen.
Yeah. Tim Criss defeated Pete Weber, as you saw, in match play. Now, is that going to loosen up Tim Criss? Tim Criss, known as the Turtle, he throws the ball kind of slow, 5-step, shoulder high, a nice knee bend, reaches out toward the target.
Very square at the line.
And
Good
here's
balance.
his result. Just 10 in the pit, no problem. An opportunity to take a 22-pin lead. Doesn't quite get the entire break. There's his wife, Sherry. And Sherry would like to wish her younger, bigger brother, Craig, a happy 21st birthday. Apparently, he's 6'5", younger, but bigger. Happy birthday, Craig.
At the 10 pin, no trouble for Tim Criss. Of course, if you or I are saying it to him, it's happy birthday, Mr. Craig, if he's 6'5".
Yes, indeed. Well, Pete has got to feel fortunate that Tim didn't double against him. Back on his good lane. Needs to put that last shot behind him. Well, there's this kind of shot that happens after you go light on one lane. He slowed the speed down. The ball hooked early and right through the heart for 4. This is very, very difficult to make. Almost impossible. You do have to have the ball hooking into the 3-pin. Send the 3 into the 4-7 and let the ball get to 9.
Got a chance.
Look at that spare, Mike. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? Woo!
Tracy says if you're going to leave him, make them.
Gosh, I'll tell you what. That excites me. Watch this ball. As he throws the ball slow, lets the ball drift far to the right. Now, as it comes back, the ball's got to get that back pin. Just a marvelous cover. I think he even surprised himself.
Surprised Tim Criss. Well, they got him pumped right back up.
How about a little momentum? That's exactly what he kept there.
So actually, that monster split, he lost nothing. It's the same as the single pin conversion, only he gets more momentum. It was a positive.
Yeah, it ended up being a very, very big positive, and it carried over into the next shot. It's Tim Criss back on lane 32. He was high flush on this lane, the first shot for a strike. Right back in there, back in the same exact spot. Doesn't seem to be intimidated at all by Pete Weber.
So both players struggling a little bit on the left lane.
Left lane seems to be giving them a little problem. The problem with Pete's shot in the second frame was that he was a little bit around the ball and the ball hung. So maybe there is a little bit more of a hang spot on 31. We'll see. Tim Criss also came in light on 31.
Trying for his first double of the match to increase his lead to 22. Looks good. Oh, it didn't get there. Breaks down to 2-8-10 and leaves only the 8-10.
Tighten up.
You heard Tim Criss say something about tightening up. I don't know if he's talking about himself tightening up or if he wants to tighten up his line a little bit.
I think he's saying the lane tightened up.
Yeah, I believe that's probably right. As he goes for just the count, now he's given the great Pete Weber the opportunity to be even in this match.
He is already. Take the lead now.
Can go up 10 pins with a strike here in the 5th frame. But what kind of an adjustment does he make now? Does he just say, okay, Pete, let's not get slow on this lane?
I think he has to say that to himself.
That was the problem in the previous shot on 32. Speed control.
Has it. Check out ESPN2 today for a great triple header, a game already in progress. Wake Forest battles Virginia. Then at 4 o'clock, it's North Carolina looking to avenge their previous loss to Maryland. Then at 8:30, Colorado State takes on Fresno State.
Now to increase the lead to 20 pins. He got fast with that shot. A little over-aggressive, got a little too pumped up, threw the ball a little too hard. Leaves the 210. Now, all of a sudden, God, you see a player of his caliber go from being so totally zoned in to being a little bit lost. He needs to make this to keep his lead.
Come on, touch it.
Just scoots by, 8 out. So we've got a match here between the non-champion and the 22 timeless. The difference in this match right now is 6 pins. Criss has him. Can he hang on to him? We'll find out.
Introducing Rage from Columbia 300. Let it out.
Of all the things around you that can hurt your eyes, there's one you probably don't think too much about. But working at a computer every day can cause a number of vision problems. The solution may be as simple as changing the position or the color of your monitor. Your Pearl Eye Care professional can also help with glasses specially made to reduce eye strain. Seeing comfortably, that's the key.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
If 1 under's a birdie, maybe 1 over should be a turkey. 2 over a buzzard, 3 over a dodo because you're dead, 4 over an ostrich because you just want to hide your head in the sand.
Tim Criss got a reprieve when Weber opened in the 6th frame, leads by 6 pins.
And by Weber missing both those pins, he lost extra 2 pins in count. Boy, that ball went way wide on the right-hand lane.
Tim Criss is an unknown, so I asked him, well, what's the strength of Tim Criss's game?
Mike, I would say my strength is probably projection of the ball. I would consider myself pretty good at playing break points. Obviously, I throw the ball probably slower than a lot of tour guys, so I will rely a lot on projection to get the ball down the lane. And as long as I'm projecting the ball well, I can get the ball to where I want it down the lane and hopefully strike a line.
And he projects his first double of the match and takes a 16-pin lead.
Really puts it on Pete Weber right now. I mean, he is telling Pete, by virtue of that double, that if you want to stay with me, you better start right now.
And don't miss.
Yeah. That steely-eyed concentration.
Good speed. This carry is great.
Needs to keep the speed up on 32 and be careful not to get too fast on 31. 32 seems to be hooking more, braking harder in the back end. Lane 31, a little bit of a hang spot. And as they continue to bowl, Mike, they're carrying the oil further down the lane, so they're making that hang spot even bigger.
So it could get more problems on this lane as time goes on.
We'll see his speed control on lane 31.
Looks like he went around it a little bit more, around that hang spot.
Well, he might have gone around a little more, but he kept the speed down, gave the ball the opportunity to hook back into the pocket.
Cuts it right back down to 6 pins.
And puts it right back in Tim Criss's court. Okay, I got my double. Now let's see what you can do.
Tim is from Bel Air, Maryland. He's 30 years of age. Looking for 3 in a row.
His good lane.
Boy, can't miss that lane. Bumps it back up to 16 pins, his lead.
And that's the lane that he chose to finish on. If he can strike, watch this shot, Mike. This ball goes way, way, way to the right. On about the 2 board at 45 feet. Comes right back up there and just knocks that 10 out. Thank you very much.
He was looking at the 10 pin all the way there with
this is a very, very important shot right here. And I think he's in the 9th frame. On the tougher of the 2 lanes. He controls his own destiny right now. Pete Weber cannot shut him out. And Pete Weber had better strike. Because he's down 26 pins.
Yeah, if he doesn't strike now, it's all over.
Well, Dave is doing a pretty good job against the Goliath of this match. The prohibited favorite, Pete Weber.
That's the hurl. It did hold. My goodness.
Could have been a solid 9. Ball hung in there. Down to 16 pins. This match is going right down to the 10th frame, Mike. And Pete seems to be now in the same position he was in the previous game as far as being comfortable on the lanes, but he's certainly not comfortable with a 16-pin deficit.
Got to have this first one to stay alive.
The first one to stay alive, the second one to take the lead.
Looks good. Oh, you talked about the solid 9 pin. It's your fault.
Oh, that is such a bad break, but it's so much a shot of the 90s, of the reactive resin balls. The ball just never, it just doesn't touch the 9 pin. It just goes right past it.
Boy, what a great camera shot that was.
And now all Pete Weber can do is make this fair, strike for 201, and hope for a miracle, because that's what it will take for him to continue into our next match.
17 pins down. Tracy says no. No.
Well, it's a shame, but the power of today's bowling equipment, that's what can happen. Oh, you can always carry the fill ball, and that's exactly what he's thinking.
You know, that's something that never changes, no matter decade to decade or what kind of ball you use at the fill ball, always carries.
Now, this is kind of an interesting situation. Does Tim Criss move in, throw the ball straight and hard, and just make sure he wins this match? Or does he continue to throw his ball close to that channel?
He's going with a normal shot. He says, I haven't missed this lane yet.
Well, if I'm Norm Duke, I'm not letting Tim Criss finish on 32.
Although his last 2 shots on 31 were flush also. So Tim Criss, the non-winner, two 22-time champions, are now disposed of.
Yeah,
they're out of the way.
And the only one left is talking about him.
Very good. Tim Criss, first time he missed lane 32, leaves the 2-8. With a spare conversion, he's going to win this match, 226 to 201.
Yeah, Pete did really all he could do in the 10th frame. He made a great shot. And the technology left him a 9-pin.
Converts the spare. Tim Criss is the winner of our second match. When we come back, we're going to talk to the proprietor of Fiesta Bowl. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Tell us the payment you want, and we'll show you how to get it at Lancaster Dodge. Save $10,000 on a 96 Dodge Elk high-top conversion van and $1,500 on a 97 Dodge Neon. Plus, get great deals on selected demo models in stock. with interest rates as low as 1.9% APR. You'll always get the best deals from the Dodge boys at Lancaster Dodge.
Something special about a Lancaster Dodge, and it's more. It's more than a car.
9 days. Every Ford car and truck, sale priced. It's your Ford dealer's President's Day sales event with $1,000 cash back on America's leaders. Taurus, Contour, Escort, Crown Victoria, Ranger, even Thunderbird. 6 Fords, 9 days to save $1,000 cash back. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer by February 22nd. Get financing as low as 1.9%. Hurry, President's Day means 9 days to save.
With me is the proprietor of Fiesta Bowl and our host for the Northwest Classic, Mark Frank. Welcome, Mark. You're also the host for next week in the Oregon Open. How difficult is it to run 2 PBA tournaments back-to-back?
Well, the difficult part about it is all the last-minute preparation work. We have, so many things that we can't do before, well in advance, so we have to do it all at the last minute. But we have, real good staffs, and they've been through it many times, and we also have a real good set of volunteers that have been through it many times. So that definitely makes it a lot easier, and we always seem to get it done.
How about for next year? Planning on next year?
Oh, yeah. Next year we'll be back-to-back again.
Thank you very much. We'll be looking forward to 1998. Now let's take a look at the top finishers for the Northwest Classic. Just missing the telecast, Tommy DeLutz Jr. He bowled collegiately at William Patterson College in New Jersey and has a degree in communications.
Bob Benoit was the first pro to ever bowl a 300 game in a televised championship match.
Steve Jaros, this was his 10th consecutive match play appearance.
Joe Firpo, his only title, the Las Vegas doubles with Del Warren.
Glenn Blakey rolled the first 300 of the week and the first since Tucson. Our final score in the second match, the Turtle, Tim Criss races to victory, 226 to 201 over Pete Weber. Setting up the next match, Norm Duke versus Tim Criss. Stay tuned.
The Pack is back on top. Green Bay is title town once again. Share the excitement in this exclusive Super Pack, the incredible new video, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl 31 champions, plus this collector's dream, a special hardcover Sports Illustrated commemorative edition, both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Call this number now and join the Pack for a season filled with greatness and glory when the team of history becomes a team of destiny.
Is this heaven or what?
It's a one-of-a-kind video starring the one and only Green Bay Packers.
Everybody wait down. Let's go.
It's Reggie.
Reggie got him again.
Brett.
Brett Favre, yes, touchdown.
Edgar Bennett.
Dive, touchdown, Edgar Bennett.
And Bad Moon.
Touchdown, Andre Rison.
It's Dorsey.
Touchdown, Dorsey.
Dotson. And Desmond.
Field goal. The 40, the 30.
It's the good guys in green and gold. The legendary Green Bay Packers.
What a moment. Oh.
Don't miss this super tribute to the Pack. It's free from Sports Illustrated. Call now and get your exclusive championship package, including the Sports Illustrated Super Special Commemorative. Each collector's edition is hardbound, gold embossed, and individually numbered. This colorful memento magnificently captures the Packers in a championship style you'll treasure forever. Both great collector's items are free when you order 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the famous swimsuit issue, for only $1.48 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery of your Super Pack, use your credit card.
That you could drive a truck to the Super Bowl.
Don't miss this exclusive, unbeatable Super Pack. Call now to get the great Packers video and the special hardbound collector's commemorative edition, both free from Sports Illustrated. A sports experience like no other. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Feels like I'm playing the Flyers.
Back at Fiesta Bowl, in Richland, Washington. Tim Criss, he's letting him finish on the right lane.
Well, that must mean that Norm Duke is more comfortable with the left lane, and I watched him in practice, and he was trying everything. Didn't really look like he had found anything that was to his liking. As we can see, Tim Criss, a lot of strikes in that right-hand lane. What happens during commercial? You know, you just have to wonder. He's absolutely lined in, knows exactly where he wants to throw the ball. Take a minute or two break, through the nose. It's usually lack of speed. And I remember that many times it would happen to me also. I would be lined in, and then as he makes that spare, when you come back after commercial, you almost have to tell yourself, okay, remember what you were doing before. Let's do it the same way.
Of course, the adrenaline's not pumping quite the same, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, it most certainly does. You see Norm Duke, 5'5", from Claremont, Florida. Great player with a lot of talent.
Knocks over the 10-pin in that opening frame.
As you can see, Norm Duke now 13th on the list of PBA millionaires, trying to move up a couple of notches. I'm sure he'll do that.
With 3 of the top 5 on the telecast this afternoon.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have great players on today.
And what, of course, is not shown on that graphic there is the guy in 4th place is the guy sitting next to me, Marshall Holden.
Yeah, for 4th place and holding steady. Big shot for Norm. To boost his confidence, an early double.
Oh, the solid 10. Great shot. Not a great result.
Well, he's found the pocket, but will that ball carry? We'll take a look at this ball going into the pocket. Now watch the 6-pin, the second from the right, as it just whirls around the 10-pin. Norm will throw the ball very, very straight for this spare conversion. And no problem.
A little problem with the approach or something, but he didn't foul, so has the spare. Tim Criss on the right lane, 2nd frame. It's an even match right now.
His bowling goal, Mike, is just to make a living bowling. And seems to be doing that.
Leaves the soft 10-pin.
Yeah, I might use some other verbiage to describe my feelings on a 10-pin, but Tim Criss says yuck.
Well, I don't think he liked the way the ball hit. I think he was describing the way it hit.
Yeah.
Cross lane at the 10-pin, straight at it, and has it. Robin Roberts brings sports and entertainment together tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, when her guests include ESPY's host Jeff Foxworthy, and from HBO show Arliss, Robert Wool. Catch In the Spotlight with Robin Roberts right here on ESPN.
Tim Criss now trailing by only 1 pin going into the 3rd frame. That ball's got to stop hooking. He's lost the left lane.
3-9. He was light the first game, and now suddenly he's going high.
Early. This is in his delivery. You can't really tell with that shot, but he did not get the ball projected out. Remember in his interview, he said projection is the key to his game.
And projection means what?
Just to project the ball out onto the lane, to get it down the lane, to make sure the ball doesn't hook too soon.
Kind of the positive side of don't set it short.
Exactly right. And he makes a nice spare with a 3-9. Not an easy spare to make. Norm Duke's been in the pocket on both of his shots with a 3-pin lead.
Tight, leaves a 4-pin. So we've got a struggle here going on in our semifinal match as the players are suddenly not striking as easily as they did in the previous 2 matches.
The lanes are transitioning, are having a little bit of a transition, and the bowlers may be tightening up a little bit as we get closer to our championship game.
At the 4-pin, backs it in there.
And you may have heard when Norm threw that first shot and left the 4-pin, there were some people kind of applauding. They're not trying to give him a bad time. They thought that he struck. We see Norm Duke. Now, he takes a lot of steps. 1, 2. I think probably 6 or 7 steps. He changes from time to time. The shoulder high backswing. He's got a beautiful game.
Gets so close to that foul line, it's amazing. Back in the pocket and leaves another 10-pin. The carry just not there. Norm's shaking his head, never a good sign.
He had the same problem in practice. That was the ball that he was able to get to the pocket the most consistently with, but he couldn't knock over the pin. So he's got a real problem to try and solve. Do I stay with this ball and just, you know, take the chances of it not carrying? As you see, he's had 34 career 300 games. Won't be having one this game. Or does he make the ball change to go for one that might hit harder, but might be harder to control?
What would you do?
Well, I would stay with the same ball and try and make it strike. That might not be the right thing, but that's how I always bowled.
That's your conservative nature.
I suppose it is. Conservative on the lanes.
Tim Criss. Solid 10-pin. Weak 10-pin, now solid 10-pin.
He didn't say yuck on that shot. He liked that, and Sherry liked that shot. She's just wondering, well, gosh, hon, how come the 10-pin didn't fall?
She looks a lot more worried than he does.
Yeah, well, it's always toughest on the wives because they have very little control. They can't throw any bowling balls down there. Nice and straight, good conversion. Still only trails by a couple of pins.
2 pins the difference. We're in the 5th frame. Semi-final match here, the championship round finals of the Northwest Classic here in Richland, Washington at Fiesta Bowl. This is Mike Durbin along with Marshall Holman. In our opening match, Pete Weber defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr., but then Tim Criss defeated defeated Pete Weber. Oh, he figured it out on that leg.
Got that ball in the pocket. You know, he struck 7 times against Pete Weber, and that's the first strike he's had against Norm Duke.
Well, he's liable to throw 7 in a row now.
Now let's see if Norm is staying with that same ball. No, he is not. He has switched balls. He's going for better carry. I think this ball goes straighter. Well, it went too straight, and he was looking for better carry. He got a very good break. Now you can see him watching, trying to figure out what this ball is doing. Watch how straight this ball goes. That's a combination of his release, and this is a less reactive ball. Carries a very, very fortunate 2-pin off the wall. Says, oh, I'll take that.
So you're going to stay with that ball on lane 31?
No, he's switched back to the ball that he was having trouble knocking all 10 pins down with, but he was getting it to the pocket.
High. Almost crosses over, leaves the 6-pin.
Yeah, that was just a bad shot. He did not get that ball out on the lane. He set it short, ball hooked early. He's talking to himself, but he's fortunate because Tim Criss is not doing a lot right now. He still finds himself with a 2-pin lead, even though he's only had 2 strikes, and this will be his 4th spare of the match.
Philly frames has been no problem. Stringing strikes, certainly a problem for both players. Our semifinal match is halfway over. The difference is 2 pins. Norm Duke has them. Will he hang on to them? Well, we'll find out what Criss does when we come back. Stay with us.
I really do have dandruff, so I did it. I took the Dinerex test. Dinerex tingled. Head and shoulders, nothing.
All these have effective dandruff medicine, but Dinerex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
You won't see me scratching my head in Miami.
Dinerex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power. They say the red wolf only leaves its den to hunt. Must be feeding time. The new Red Wolf from Ebonite.
Oh, man, I knew this was going to happen. I don't want to smoke pot. I can't just say no. What if I come? I'll look weird. If I don't, I'll look cool. No, I won't. I'll look stupid. No, thanks.
Cool, man. Don't want to, don't have to.
Tim Criss, 6th frame, working on a strike, can take the lead for the first time in the match right here.
And he's on the lane that he could not miss in the previous game. Coming out of commercial, see if he keeps his speed up. Good-looking shot. And a great result.
Now, what's the difference with that one that knocked over that 10-pin? Just in the hand release?
Well, it's the entry angle into the pocket. That's what makes the difference in whether you carry that 10-pin or not. We can watch the entry angle of this ball. It goes very, very long, then starts making that steep entry into the pocket. 6-pin takes care of the 10-pin, where the last time it went around it.
8 pins. The difference, Criss has them. Trying for 3 in a row, lane 31. Boy, they're getting some breaks hitting that nose and breaking these splits.
Yeah, they're not.
I keep wanting to help it over there.
You see what he just said? He said, why do I keep trying to help it? And the reason he's trying to help it is because he's afraid if he lets it go, it won't get back. As you can see, this ball never got far enough to the right. It's going right through the heart. You can see the difference. The entry ankle was much different on that particular shot. Fortunate to leave a makeable spare.
No trouble with the 6-10. The difference, 6 pins. Duke searching for the answers.
And they're giving, Tim Criss is giving Norm Duke a lot of opportunities to figure out this championship pair. He's back to that same red ball he was using earlier in the match.
Hooks it in there perfectly. Norm can hook it. He can throw it straight. I asked him, how do you choose which to do when?
Well, you know, that's a tough thing, and I've come to say to myself, all right, let the lane dictate everything. And that way I put the onus on myself. If I'm really sharp at throwing the ball straight and hooking it, and I'm confident at it, then the lane will dictate that to me. Where you get a problem is if you're really confident at one and not the other, you kind of choose the one you're confident with, and that'll get you in trouble.
Mike, on that last shot, he used the same ball, but he threw it a little bit straighter.
Oh, he trips the 4-pin out of there. He says, about time.
He's gone back to the original ball, but he's changed his release. He's not trying to hook the ball quite as much. As you can see, a great break right here for the double. It's coming in high. Trips out the 4-7.
So is he playing for the ball to hold?
Now Tim Criss is down by 4 pins.
8 frame.
Working on a spare.
His good lane. That's why maybe the biggest shot of his young career coming up right here.
Oh, I agree with you 100%, Mike. He's on the tougher of the 2 lanes, a lane that he's afraid to trust the ball on.
All right.
He's got a chance to double, get back into the lead, put the pressure back on Norm Duke. Does he trust the ball? We'll just have to wait and see.
I'm sure that's what he's thinking in his mind.
It has to be.
He did. He trusted it. And it worked.
What a great shot in a huge, huge position in the game.
This match goes back and forth. Tim Criss doubling to take the lead back by 6 pins.
You know, Norm Duke has such good touch with the way that he releases the ball. He can control the amount of revolutions that he puts onto the ball to go back into the lead.
Just never comfortable. Leaves the 6-10 still in the match.
Well, you can see the angle of this shot. It was just left of target, right off his hand. And once again, our players are fortunate they're not leaving splits. Staying with that ball to shoot the spare, he'll throw it hard and straight.
Ooh, he's got it. What's he asking for?
He's asking for tape. He's asking for tape. He didn't. I think that's what he was disappointed with.
Ball didn't feel right.
Shot. He didn't have the proper feel of the ball. You know, when you're out there bowling under the lights and it is warm down there, your hand has a tendency to shrink and swell.
So he's using a sure hook in that ball, putting tape behind it.
He uses a cork, insert, and tape behind it, very much like what I've done for the majority of my career. I've stopped doing that in the last couple of years, but I used to always use the tape in back of the cork. Tim Criss is watching as he has an 8-pin lead on Norm Duke.
Right there, maybe his best shot of the game right there.
Well, right there, he forces Tim Criss to show up in the 10th frame with one more strike. He would force Tim Criss to strike the first ball in the 10th frame.
One more, takes a 2-pin lead. for the lead. And knocks a 10-pin.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure Karen's at home right now running him out, his young son, Brandon. I wonder if Norm's dog, Mandy, is watching. I don't know.
Both players looking over at the score as we look at a replay of that last shot.
What a great shot. And watch the action of the 6-pin as it just annihilates the 10.
Now he needs 9, right?
And he loves it. He says, that's the one. He needs at least 9 pins. Actually, if he gets 8 pins,
yeah.
8 pins, it forces Tim Criss to strike. He's going to throw the ball hard and straight, right down the middle. Very professional shot for the fill shot. Didn't want to take a chance of leaking it out too far and getting 6 or 7. It forces Tim Criss to get up and throw a strike on his good lane. You once again have to wonder, why would Norm let him finish on lane 32?
Well, he struck out on 31 where he had to. That's why.
Maybe he wants to post the score first.
Yeah.
A lot of players like to finish first.
Tim Criss for the win. Oh, a solid 10-pin.
And did you see Norm saying, great shot? And his wife Sherry is just crushed by that. But it's very much like Pete Weber. When he made the shot, it just didn't respond as far as knocking all the pins down. Oh, it's little consolation, but it feels better in the long run when you made a good shot and it doesn't get a strike than if you get up there and dog it through the nose. With a strike here, he'll finish with 213. Norm Duke shoots 215.
Tim Criss finishes with 211 and loses by 215 to Norm Duke. So that's his best finish. Third place is the highest place he's ever finished in a PBA tournament, with $7,000. Our next stop coming up is the PBA Oregon Open. That's March the 1st, next week, 5:30 Eastern Time. And then the tour goes to ABC, where the AC Delco Classic, 3:30, coming March 8th. We're going to be coming back with Championship Frame, a review of our 3 previous matches. Stay tuned.
If your game is in the pits, your team feels like the pits, maybe, just maybe, it's the shirts.
1-800-PBA Tour.
Our shirts are the pits.
No problem. Shirts are on their way.
Now it's time to put some color on your team and more fun in your game. It's amazing what a bunch of strikes will do for you. So, now you too can look like a winner and bowl like a pro. Just call 1-800-PBA Tour.
Your family. You'd give your life for them, but that's not what they want. They just want you to stay healthy. But high cholesterol could put you at risk of a first heart attack, even if you have no signs of heart problems. And the fact is, about 1/3 don't survive their first heart attack. Call 1-800-PREVENT to find out about treatment plans that could help you cut your chances of a first heart attack and live a longer, healthier life. Call your doctor or 1-800-PREVENT now from Bristol-Myers Squibb.
The Pack is back on top.
To the 40, they go.
Green Bay is title town once again. Share the excitement in this exclusive Super Pack, the incredible new video, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl 31 champions, plus this super special hardcover Sports Illustrated commemorative edition, both free with your paid subscription. Join the Pack for a season of greatness and glory as a team of history becomes a team of destiny. Plus, get this gold embossed, individually numbered SI commemorative edition, a magnificent championship memento you'll treasure forever. This exclusive Packers Collector's Pack is free when you order 54 issues of SI for only $1.48 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now and get your unbeatable Super Pack free from Sports Illustrated. A sports experience like no other. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Now it's time for Championship Frame. In our opening match, Pete Weber just needed 16 pins in the 10th frame, Marshall.
And all professionals, when they need a mark in the 10th, they want to strike. Pete Weber gives us his best shot, throws the ball wide, watch it hook. And there's a nice friendly 16 fill.
Just another mild reaction by Pete Weber as he defeated the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. 258 to 244, setting up match number 2, where Criss had the upper hand. He's in the 9th frame here.
And a key shot for Tim Criss, a chance to really put a lot of pressure on Pete Weber. Projects the ball nicely down the lane, very wide, coming in flush, 10 in the pit.
He's talking to it, must have talked right. Final score, Criss 226, Weber 201. Setting up the semifinal match, Duke and Criss. Criss needed a strike to win.
And young Tim Criss gives it his best shot, absolutely throws the ball right where he wants to. Good projection, good revolutions, good everything. 10-pin wiggles. Norm Duke wins.
He likes it, but he doesn't like the result. Final score, Duke 215, Criss 211. Setting up our title match, and we'll see the championship trophy for the Northwest Classic. The winner of the next match is going to get that trophy. And the two guys who are going to vie for it, Brian Voss, Norm Duke. Thing they have in common, besides being champions and the Hall of Famers, is that they both stayed at Mark Frank's home this week. We'll be right back.
Once in a while, if you're lucky, you get to see this. Watch and wait long enough, you may catch something like this. But why wait for one fabulous follow-up when you can have bunches of crunches? Hot on the heels of Choice Smart's Smash Hit Sports Video Series comes the amazing Sports Video Collection. All new and only from Choice Smart. 5 tapes, hours of entertainment, just $19.95. This offer is not available in stores. Call now. Look, these are some bone-crunching, hair-raising, side-splitting bloopers most never before seen on TV. They'll make you laugh and make you cringe. This is the ultimate collection of sports bloopers. They'll entertain you for years to come. Watch raging cattle turn cowboys into hamburgers. Gotta hurt. Gotta love it. There's motocross madness. That's painfully funny. But this guy's not laughing. You'll be rewinding to see it again. Bam! Witness the pandemonium. 5 different videos, hours of gut-wrenching, entertaining bloopers from all your favorite sports. They even poke good-natured fun at some of your favorite athletes, like Deion Sanders and Sir Charles Barkley. For just $19.95, you'll get amazing hits, KOs, and crunches, funniest basketball bloopers, funniest sports bloopers, the lighter side of sports, and the amazing Superstar Sports Quiz so you can challenge friends at your next sports get-together and see classic footage of your favorite heroes in action, like Jolton Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Every scene is handpicked by Choice Smart, so it's right on the mark. Right for you, right for the sports fan on your gift list. Race to the phone to take advantage of this exclusive TV offer and order your 5 hard-hitting videos for only $19.95. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't wait. You'll only be hurting yourself.
Call 1-800-683-9933 now to get the amazing sports video collection for you or your favorite sports fan. 5 incredible videos for one low price of $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping. That's a $75 retail value and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now 1-800-683-9933.
There's that championship trophy. A beautiful thing to look at. The capacity crowd here at Fiesta Bowl in anticipation of what we hope will be an exciting title match between 2 great champions, Norm Duke, Brian Voss,
and 2 very good friends. You know, Mike, Norm Duke has made 6 out of 11 telecasts in Mark Frank-owned bowling centers, so...
no wonder he stays at his house. What a way to start the championship match. Norm Duke won our semifinal match. He's the first one to win this afternoon without getting 5 strikes on lane 32. He's got a couple of strikes over there.
And he'll just go for the count here. Early in the match, if you're going to make a big mistake, it's good to get it out of the way early. As you see, his last title was August of '95 in Bedford, Ohio.
At the 3. Has him, but 8 out in the opening frame.
And Brian Voss, who looked a little more lined in practice than Norm Duke did an hour and a half ago, will step up on lane 32 and see what he can do.
Brian Voss, 62 previous television appearances. He's 58-48 in those games with a 220 average. And a solid 10 to start the title match.
Made a good shot. Didn't quite get the results he wanted. As you can see, Brian Voss, 38-year-old pro from Atlanta, Georgia. His wife, Andrea, and he has 2 children, Joshua and Cameron. I'm sure they're back in Atlanta rooting for Daddy.
Cross lane at the 10-pin. Hard and straight at it. Players have had no trouble with single pin spares today.
No, not at all. We've had very, very accurate players. Even though they can put a lot of power on the ball, these are all good spare shooters. That was kind of a misnomer years ago with Mark Roth and the big hook he used to throw. People didn't realize just what a great spare shooter he also was.
Another 10-pin, back-to-backers.
All right, he's in the pocket as we see the Director of Operations for the PBA, Bobby Dinkins. Looks like he's trying to knock him down for the pros.
Cross lane again at the 10-pin.
Brian Voss defeated Norm Duke twice in match play. Trying to make it 3 times.
Trying for the hat trick here.
Yeah. He averaged 223 against Norm Duke, and I think right now a 223 would probably win this tournament as the pros are out there kind of searching. Almost a solid 9.
He go a little wider with that?
That ball got further down the lane, further to the right, and then broke harder in the back end. We'll take a look at this shot.
You're always talking about entry angle.
Well, watch how this ball creeps further down the lane. It gets about out to 2 board. Now it's got to stop hooking. Fortunately, it did. The ball didn't touch that 9-pin, but something did.
For the double. Perfect. Hey.
What a great adjustment after leaving that wide open 5-count split. Duke comes back with a couple strikes, and now Brian Voss has only a 1-pin lead.
We talked about that just a minute ago. These guys make show after show after show, don't they?
And that's a very good record, 58-48. The 220 average. That's got a hook.
Boy, it does. Boy, it looked like he just softened up that speed an iota.
Just enough. Did you see Brian Voss? I'll tell you right now, if you got a youngster, tell him to watch this particular delivery. Beautiful, beautiful form. Nice solid push away, relaxed arm swing, shoulder high. Gets a good knee bend and reaches out to that target.
So in balance, too.
And look at the result. When you make a good shot, everything responds. Would love to get this double and take an 11-pin lead.
Going high. Uh-oh. Leaves the 310. He yelled at it, but it didn't do any good. Tried to soften up again.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of helped it. You know, that was a lane that Tim Criss was afraid to trust it on. It's because there's more hang on lane 31.
Farther apart.
He's saying they're further apart, but there was a pin that knocked it over there,
right.
Not the machine.
The machine did knock him apart. Can he make it?
Oh, I don't care how far apart they are.
He made that look too easy.
Amazing the way he did that, too. Just further left, hard and straight.
Right. What he did on that particular spare is he eliminated the lane. Norm Duke is asking about the shot clock. Needs to compose himself. Get back into his rhythm.
And they restarted the shot clock.
For the lead.
Oh, the solid 10. Had a few of those today.
Boy, he had to like the way he threw that ball. He's shaking his head. think he's just shaking his head at that darn 10-pin.
No, he did with his elbow there. He's saying that he chicken winged it a hair.
Yeah, maybe. I guess
or
he
turned
did
it early a little bit or something. Well, it looked good to us.
It looked good to me.
I liked it. Evidently, he didn't. At the 10-pin, has the spare. The 3-year-olds take to the track in Hallandale, Florida, in this section of the Florida Derby, the Fountain of Youth. Get a good look at some possible Kentucky Derby contenders as they run for $200,000 in prize money today, 4:30 Eastern Time, right here on ESPN.
Norm Duke trailing by 2 pins. Wants to get that ball in the 1-3 pocket and have them all respond. That's what he's looking for.
Well, Duke has got both lanes with the pocket figured out.
He's starting to become a little more comfortable, and you know that's where the champion or the leader of the tournament has a big disadvantage. He has to watch everybody bowl and then come out and just turn it on immediately.
Two pins the difference. 5th frame. Gets that 10-pin. Brian Voss has won for 10 consecutive years. I've asked him, how important is it to continue this streak?
Well, I love winning. You know, you never seem to win enough, but I love winning more than anything in the world besides my wife. I want to keep it going. It's my goal every week to win a tournament, but I want to win. I want to win for 20 years. This is a chance to do it.
So that kind of passion will get it done.
And this is a chance to double right here.
This is a lane that he didn't trust it on and went high. Previous shot.
Is that right? Perfect.
Well, I know that when he throws this ball, the only thing he's thinking about right now is, please carry, because I've done everything I can do to put this ball high flush in the pocket. Please carry. Oh, it did. Norm Duke down by 12.
The 2-8, it didn't make it up.
And he thought that ball was going to hook. He started running that ball out. He had to feel good about that shot, or else he wouldn't have been on the run.
Well, it could be that, you know, he was hoping he got a little wide, the dry area would bring it back. I'm familiar with that feeling.
Well, that's exactly what he was trying to do. It just, now he's still messing with that tape. He's not completely comfortable with the way his ball is feeling. Now, is he going to throw the ball straight, or is he going to hook the ball to 2-8? I always like to hook the ball when I left the spare, but Norm Duke going to throw it straight.
Has the spare.
He's looking at the score right now. And the score is 12 pins deficit for Norm Duke.
And Voss lined in on both lanes.
Yeah, looking good. Now Brian is also working on his ball. Neither one of these guys are having a lot of success with getting the proper feel. Got to stop. Oh, just barely. Big break for Norm. The ball never does get far enough to the right as Norm's kind of laughing about this shot. Watch how high in the pocket it is. Trips out the 4, the 6, the 7, the 10. Oh, boy. Everything.
Thank you, he says. Voss.
Chance to go up 22 pins.
Working on 2 in a row. There's 3. The Rangers boast 3 of the NHL's top 8 scorers in Messier, Gretzky, and Leach. Number 9 on that list is the Flyers' John LeClaire, who along with Eric Lindros look to outscore the Rangers at home. That's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for this division rivalry here on ESPN.
Brian Voss on the left-hand lane, wanting to keep the pressure on Norm Duke to go up by 32 pins. He likes it.
Oh! He loves it. The 10-pin scoots out of there.
And, you know, Brian took command of this tournament very, very early. Watch this shot as he swings the ball far to the right, slow speed. Here it comes. It's light. Will it carry? Oh. Yes.
Looked like he was getting ready to slide into first base.
Oh, Almost a must strike for Norm, and he comes in light, he comes in high, he's lost.
The ball's not supposed to do that. When I move, after being light, it's supposed to go in the pocket, not high.
Yeah, just doesn't quite have good command on that right-hand lane right now.
3, 6, 9, 10. Tough spare. Has to make it to stay in the match at all.
Needs to hook the ball enough to get that back sleeper pin. Look out! And he goes right past it in pretty much Brian Voss's tournament right now. Brian Voss first took the lead in this tournament in the 3rd round and never, ever looked back. He really was in command.
You know, he has a habit of doing that. I can remember once at the PBA National in Toledo, once he got in front, he just never looked back and then came out on the telecast and shot 250.
Some people have a tough time in the lead. Brian Voss doesn't seem to mind it at all.
No. Well, a little anticlimactic here as Norm Duke in the 9th frame, trailing by 44 pins, knows that this is a lost cause. Shooting the spare before the rake is even up.
He just wants to get out of Brian Voss's way. These two are very, very good friends. I know how disappointed Norm Duke is right now, but I also know that he's happy and he's proud of his buddies. We see this round by round. You can see Brian Voss took command.
Never below 4.
Tim Criss led it the first 2 rounds, and then Brian Voss said, I think I'll take this all the way.
Leaves the 10 pin, but he really doesn't care.
That.
Yeah, he says
that. He's looking over the scoreboard right now, and should make him smile.
That's it.
That's it, he says. You know, really, maybe the key shot of this match might have been back when he made the baby split in the 4th frame that kept him clean, and he kept 4 in a row after that.
But it kept him in the lead. Kept Norm Duke from taking a lead and maybe grabbing a little momentum.
Tenth frame. Voss.
Well, that's a little...
It's a 6 pin.
You know, when you've got it all wrapped up, you know, it's tough to keep going up there and making those crisp shots. He didn't have to make a real good shot there. Just keep it on the lane. He knows he's won this tournament, and he extends his streak to yet another year of winning a title on the PBA Tour.
11 years. Of course, the great Earl Anthony holds the record with 14.
And Brian Voss wants that record.
It's been a year.
Brian's very emotional about this victory.
Get 'em all! Yeah! Yeah! Stay down!
Well, tears of joy for Brian Voss. I'm sure Andre is probably weeping too back in Atlanta.
Hey, by the way, these things are pretty tough here, okay? Yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh.
It's all. Well, I heard nothing, Brian. I heard nothing.
Brian turning this into a PG-rated show.
All right, thank you.
Norm finding it when it's as
some high fives going here. Come on now. Come on,
right.
go.
For Brian, it's not about how much prize money he won. As you see Norm Duke finishing second for $9,500. For Brian, it is all about winning.
Real nice win.
All about winning.
Yeah.
Title number 17.
You can see his friend, proprietor Mark Frank, giving him a little hug of congratulations.
Norm Duke finishes with 185. Our championship match. Final scores. Brian Voss, 227. Norm Duke, 185. That's 11 years in a row for Brian Voss, and we'll be back to talk with him to see what his thoughts are on it. Don't you touch that remote. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A fella came in the other day, knew exactly what he wanted, but I didn't have it. So I told him I'd make a few calls.
Yeah, I'll hold. Don't have any? No luck, huh? You've got one? I'll be there first thing in the morning. Hey, Bob, want to go for a drive?
It took some time, but we found what he wanted. Although getting it took even more time, because we had to bring it back from a dealership a couple of states away. He was pleased we went so out of our way for a used car. I told him we did the same thing we would have done for a new car. Or Saturn, for that matter.
If you live west on 422 in Hershey, or east towards Reading, or up 125 in Pine Grove, or down 72 toward Manheim, you're just minutes away from Chapman Ford Lincoln Mercury. Buyers come here to Lebanon from all over central Pennsylvania. With 8 dealerships, our buying power is your saving power. Our goal is to price every car and truck from $300 to $800 less than the competition for the same exact model.
Chapman Ford Lincoln Mercury. If our name's not on your car or truck, you pay too much.
Big Monday means Eastern Powers, Big 12 battles, and the best of the West. At 7:30, Friar frontliner Austin Crozier and Providence roll with the orange. At 9:30, Jayhawk General Jock Vaughn and Kansas put their top ranking on the line against rival Oklahoma. Then, the Utes are on track in the WAC. They'll run with Rice at midnight. Syracuse Providence at 7:30, Kansas Oklahoma at 9:30, Utah Rice at midnight. Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. Monday on ESPN.
Northwest Airlines can take you as far away and bring you as close to home as any airline on Earth.
Some people just know how to fly.
The champion of the Northwest Classic, a very emotional Brian Voss.
Hey, you know, I'm bowling out there against one of my best buddies. You know, it's tough. It's been a long time since I won. Matter of fact, it's been a year. And I haven't led a tournament in a lot of years, so this was really, really a big event for me.
Is it easier or tougher from the #1 position?
Well, it used to be pretty tough, but I think the last 5 or 6 times that I've led, my stats got a little bit better, so I'll take my chances anytime with one game. Real quick, hi, honey. My wife's home. I know you're watching. My kids, Josh and Cameron. Yeah. All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Hi to my brothers, sisters, mom.
We'll be back to talk more with Brian Voss and Norm Duke right after these messages. Now, don't you hit that remote, because we'll be right back.
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power. They say the red wolf only leaves its den to hunt. Must be feeding time. The new Red Wolf from Ebonite.
Of all the things around you that can hurt your eyes, there's one you probably don't think too much about. But working at a computer every day can cause a number of vision problems. The solution may be as simple as changing the position or the color of your monitor. Your Pearl Eye Care professional can also help, with glasses specially made to reduce eye strain. Seeing comfortably, that's the key.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Welcome back, everyone, and joining us is the runner-up, Norm Duke, and my partner, Marshall Holman, has a question for both these guys.
Norm, it looked like during practice you were having trouble getting yourself lined in, and even in the matches, it looked like you were a little bit sort of struggling, but you gutted it out. What was it like out there?
I was a lost dog out there. Actually, you know, just to be victorious over Tim Criss was a big, I mean, that was huge. I just happened to gut out 2 shots, and he threw a great shot and missed, but I just wanted to see Brian cry.
Well, you got your wish. And speaking of Brian, both Mike Durbin and I felt like that 310 conversion really helped you keep the momentum. You threw 4 in a row right